The Charmed cast, where are they now in 2025? Three witches who once captivated American audiences for 8 years are now remembered not just for their spellbinding performances on screen, but for the unexpected, often heartbreaking journeys they faced after the show ended. Their real lives turned out to be more dramatic and darker than anything ever conjured on Charmed. One of them tragically passed away at the age of 53, with her divorce being finalized just 1 day before her death. Another cast member fled to Mexico after making headlines for exposing one of Hollywood's most powerful and dangerous figures. The third transitions from delivering pies in a truck to directing films no one ever imagined she would make. Stories have stretched from Broadway stages to remote villages in Mexico, from political activism to profound personal losses. This is the real story of what became of the Charmed cast. Alyssa Milano began her entertainment career at a young age, and by the time she stepped into the role of Phoebe Hallowell on Charmed, she was already a well-known actress. But what she accomplished following that iconic role took nearly everyone by surprise. In 2024, well into her 50s, Alyssa made her debut on the Broadway stage, starring as Roxy Hart in the musical Chicago. This wasn't a gimmick or a celebrity guest spot. She auditioned just like every other hopeful performer, putting herself out there despite critics who doubted she could make the leap from television to live theater. While the reviews were mixed, many praising her charisma and stage presence, but pointing out weaknesses in her vocal performance, Alyssa didn't let the criticism deter her. She committed fully, undergoing intense training and working side by side with choreographers to tailor the dance numbers to her specific strengths. In interviews, Alyssa described the role as a feminist expression of ambition reclaimed. Her favorite line from the show, "Roxy is someone who never stopped chasing her moonbeams," deeply resonated with her, as she too had never stopped pursuing her dreams. That Broadway appearance wasn't just another job. It symbolized the high point of a career that had spanned over 4 decades, beginning all the way back in the 1980s with Who's the Boss? Unlike many actresses who find their opportunities dwindle as they age, Alyssa forged ahead. In fact, she announced a memoir set to be released in late 2025, promising to delve into the details of her journey. She also inked a first-look production deal with A&E Studios, solidifying her continued influence behind the scenes. Outside of acting, Alyssa has become one of the most vocal and steadfast advocates for activism in the entertainment industry. Since 2017, she has been a leading figure in the #MeToo movement, not merely using her platform for social media statements, but actively participating in marches, giving speeches, and directly confronting those in power. In 2023, she signed an open letter urging a ceasefire in Gaza, a decision that sparked both praise and backlash. The following year, she was named an ambassador for United 24, helping raise global support for Ukraine. Her podcast, Sorry features bold conversations with activists, politicians, and changemakers from across the ideological spectrum. Through all this public engagement, Alyssa has remained devoted to her role as a mother. Her children, Milo and Bella, are the center of her world. She's spoken candidly about the constant balancing act required to manage the demands of a Broadway run with parenting responsibilities. During her time in Chicago, she often recalled leaving late-night rehearsals only to be up early the next morning for school drop-offs. Rather than masking the difficulty of it all, she embraced the chaos. And that transparency made her even more relatable to fans, especially to working mothers striving to juggle it all. Holly Marie Combs, who portrayed Piper Hallowell, followed a distinctly different yet equally meaningful path after Charmed concluded in 2006. She made a return to television in 2010, taking on the role of Ella Montgomery on Pretty Little Liars, where she played the mother of Lucy Hale's character. The irony: Holly was only about 5 years older than Lucy in real life. But instead of denying the age gap, she embraced it with humor. "I'd rather they say I look too young than say I got old," she once joked. Her portrayal of Ella marked a shift, from mystical heroine to a grounded contemporary mother figure. Behind the scenes of Pretty Little Liars, Holly saw history repeating itself. Observing the younger cast members rise to fame reminded her of her own early experiences in the industry. She even admitted that this new generation was likely more professional than her own. It's worth noting that in the later seasons of Charmed, Holly had taken on the role of producer, a responsibility that influenced how she navigated her post-Charmed career. In 2024, she launched a podcast called The House of Hallowell, collaborating with her former co-stars Brian Krause and Drew Fuller. It wasn't just a nostalgic look back. The podcast became a surprising hit, especially among younger viewers who discovered Charmed through streaming platforms. Even Shannon Doherty appeared in its early episodes. Holly's honest, humorous, and vulnerable storytelling made the show a fresh extension of the Charmed universe. She didn't stop there. Holly began appearing regularly at fan conventions around the world, including the 2025 Hartford 90s Con, Comic-Con France, and Monsterpalooza in Los Angeles. At these events, she reunited with past co-stars and openly addressed long-standing questions fans had held for years. She didn't shy away from difficult topics, including the well-documented tension surrounding Shannon Doherty's exit from the show. Holly didn't sugarcoat anything. Her commitment to truth-telling earned her even more admiration. Her personal journey has had its own share of twists. Raised by teenage parents, she moved frequently throughout her childhood, a trait that may have helped her adapt to the unpredictable nature of Hollywood. Holly has been married 3 times. First to actor Brian Travis Smith, then to Charmed crew member David Donahoe, with whom she has 3 sons. Her current husband, restaurateur Mike Ryan, entered her life while both were navigating single parenthood. They took a cautious and deliberate approach to their relationship, only tying the knot in Carmel, California in 2019, after ensuring their families could blend smoothly. After her divorce from Donahoe, Holly deliberately stepped back from the spotlight to prioritize raising her children. She only returned to the industry when she felt confident that doing so wouldn't interfere with her responsibilities as a mother. In a world where career often trumps family, that kind of decision stood out and resonated deeply with fans who saw themselves reflected in her values. Above all, Holly's defining trait is her brutal honesty. She never pretended to have it all figured out. She openly acknowledged when life got messy, took aim at Hollywood's obsession with youth, and confirmed the behind-the-scenes conflicts that fans had long suspected. In doing so, she evolved from an actress into a truth-teller, a rare voice of authenticity in an industry often defined by illusion. Shannon Doherty's post-Charmed life was anything but quiet. After departing the show in 2001, her character Prue being killed off, many assumed her acting career was finished. She already carried a reputation from her time on Beverly Hills 90,210, and her conflicts with Charmed producers, particularly her widely publicized feud with Alyssa Milano, dominated the tabloids. At one point, the off-screen drama eclipsed the show's own storylines. But instead of vanishing from the public eye, Shannon pressed on in 2003. She took on hosting duties for Scare Tactics, and in 2005, Scared in Category 7, The End of the World. She surprised fans by reprising her role as Brenda Walsh in the 2008 reboot of 90,210, and she even made a brief, tongue-in-cheek appearance in Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, a wink to her earlier role in Mallrats. She took on guest roles, TV movies, and other projects that kept her steadily working, not as an A-list star, but as a recognizable and admired presence. Her devoted fans stuck by her, and her resilience made her hard to overlook. But the most challenging chapter of her life began in 2015 when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Shannon chose transparency over privacy. She underwent a mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation. By 2017, she shared that her cancer was in remission. Sadly, in 2019, it returned, this time, stage 4. In 2023, she revealed the cancer had spread to her brain. She even named the tumor Bob and underwent brain surgery to remove it. Throughout all of this, Shannon remained emotionally open and vocal about her experience. She discussed the fear, the pain, and the ongoing fight, challenging the assumption that terminal cancer patients are merely waiting to die. People with terminal cancer still have a lot of life left, she insisted, and she meant it. Her personal life carried its own burdens. She married photographer Kurt Iswarienko in 2011, but their relationship had deteriorated by the end. Tragically, their divorce was finalized just one day before Shannon passed away. She was 53. Court documents revealed financial strain. She was struggling to afford medical treatment and had requested spousal support. She alleged that Kurt intentionally delayed the divorce process to avoid helping her, and the legal battle turned bitter. But Shannon did not allow the drama to silence her. On her podcast, Let's Be Clear with Shannon Doherty, she opened up about every facet of her life, her illness, her career, her hopes for the future.